So, can you flip in here any? I hate this mic, man. Let me adjust this shit here. Sorry about this. So, it was in this here city, Barcelona, that back in 1453, Christopher Columbus, that one, returned to tell the story of accidentally discovering a continent that wouldn't even bear his name. Can you believe that? Now, the reason our guy returned here is because Barcelona back in those days was the administrative center of the Crown of Aragon. Columbus returned to Barcelona in the same year that the Ottomans managed to conquer Constantinople. And what does the fall of Constantinople mean for countries like these? Well, it's very simple. Trade routes collapse, the spices all of a sudden stop flowing, Europe is panicking. Not much difference to what is happening in our day and age. So for Europe, back then, sailing into the unknown looked like a very solid business plan. Fast forward a few centuries and yours truly is in Barcelona, albeit not for the spices. We are here first and foremost to watch my team AEK, the basketball one, mind you, taking on Badalona for the European Champions League. And secondly, a couple of days later, we have a date in Madrid, in Vallecas, with Rayo Vallecano. This city has been hiding stories that I've been obsessed with for years. So where do we start? First off, the scars of the Spanish Civil War. For the 13-year-old Anthony Mortal, going to our library and borrowing Orwell's book, The Homage to Catalonia, was I don't know how to describe it, man. It was such a shocking experience. I mean, try to imagine how it felt reading about all these stories by Orwell, reading about the role the party that he participated with, the POUM, played, and not only that, but the role the other parties, such as the PSUK, played in those years, essentially creating a civil war within the Republican Army. Right after reading that book, I found it close to impossible to even tolerate the idea of Stalinism even being a valid system, you know? I just could not believe the destructive force that it had been for the Republican Army. Now, another thing that is I cannot fathom, man. I mean, I have been observing it for years, and I cannot flip and believe it, is the complete loss of identity of the Barcelonian football. I mean, what's going on here, man? We need to talk about this. I mean, is FC Barcelona still the team of the locals here? FC Barcelona seem to be excluding their local population from the stadium in a very systematic manner. Anyway, we will be talking about all of this in the next video. However, for those of you who want to go a little bit deeper and support the shenanigans of the channel, I have finally set up a flipping Patreon, man. Extra content, behind the scenes, early content in many occasions, and the bloody chance to keep the thing alive. Because unlike Columbus, yours truly knows where he's going. So across this small body of water is the Sumud Flotilla. They are leaving on the 12th of April, I think. And it will stop in many places. Sicily, my country, Greece, and head for Gaza for a second time to try and break the siege, you know? Absolutely incredible things are happening, man, in our world. Yours truly would gladly participate, but I'm scared. I mean, I have no shame admitting it. That country is a frightening prospect. I have thought about it, many times, how I would be feeling if I was back in the Second World War. I think that I would be terrified by the Nazis. Same today, However, I do believe that each and every one of us helps with the situation how we can. And I also try to help how I can. Anyway, let's close this parenthesis, which should not be a parenthesis at all. Look at all these curves and the illusion of movement. So can you see the cross? It appears that this cross was the last thing that needed to happen. The sacred family and the sacred trains. I mean, you have to love the statues, right? All of them with a mask like Sauron's. So, besides what anyone would think about the church as an organization, as a corporation, the art surrounding the Christian religion, and not only the Christian, but more or less all religions, is stunning. By the way, I am hearing quite a lot of Greek, man. Now I got a ticket directly from Badalona, and the reason is very simple. It's the camera. Nobody in our day and age wants their faces to be on the video, And it's more or less the same for Rayo too. Sino que defiende la ubicación de su estadio por encima de cualquier cosa. Nuestro equipo defendemos nuestra identidad, nuestros valores. Este es nuestro estadio. No nos moverá. It is what it is, man. I mean, it's very well known that everybody feels quite safer with the the blurred face and all. My only comment on this is who was it? I think it was Martino who said this. He actually says, okay, so everybody wants their faces to be blurred. Imagine if this would be happening back in the day. Imagine if nobody would have filmed what all of us have seen on Boccia, I mean, we wouldn't have any idea that a guy like Boccia even existed. The contra-argument to this is that, okay, different day and age. Nowadays, everybody is looking on the videos and, giving sentences. But even that, I mean, I very much doubt that the sentences are given based on these videos. I think the CCTV does an excellent job on the sentences and all. And the footage that's coming from the CCTV cameras is not being blurred, believe me on that. Look at the shape of this map, man. We need to take 3 metros and we are in Badalona. Let's go! What are you telling me, man? Look at the flipping Catalans helping us out. We are here. Are we optimistic, man? I don't feel very optimistic, to be honest. I mean, the Final Four will be taking place here in their ground. That was a massacre. Right. So that was a massacre, but we have the return game at home. So it's not over. The team, I don't think the team ever even made it to Barcelona, to Badalona, to be fair. Just look at us, man, for the infinite time in Madrid this year. Madrid is this year's Genova, I guess. Look at this, as per usual under the bridge. This is not the same spot. The usual spot where we cross is further down that way. Running for dear life. All right then, welcome back to Vallecas for the fourth time, I guess. Look at this man, the Gatito Lopez. Let's make a selfie. No me toques los borbones. So let's move and have our walk, our usual walk to the stadium, a stadium that we know by heart by now. According to the local police authorities, the game tomorrow is a high-risk game. So, yeah. Yep, everything's here. Nothing has changed. That's a good thing. Check this out. Rayo is training. Maybe we can pick through there. That's the tricky point of our existence. Hi. As per usual, you will see everything in me, not so much. You speak English? A little bit. Tomorrow we play Rayo.
Yes.
But I have been here many times.
Yes.
To do videos on Rayo.
Yes.
So I kind of know this stadium. And this is a wonderful spot. It's so funny, man. But I'm scared. I mean, they look bad in the league table, but I think they are a lot better than what they look, you know? Who do you support?
Rayo Vallecano.
Yeah?
Yes.
Where are you from?
Japan.
Japan, eh? You live in Spain now, or you are a tourist?
Tourist.
You go to the game tomorrow?
Yes, good game.
You come to the game?
Yes.
Very good.
Back stand. I look.
Sorry?
I will look at the.
Here.
See.
Yeah. I don't know where I have a ticket. I have to see tomorrow. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Ciao. What are you telling me, man? Tourists support Rayo? Look at this. So we already have people from Athens buying memorabilia of the thing. So if you remember, one of the reasons the Bucaneros were protesting is this space here. It's not very capable. So let's see, how do we do this? I'm very good at my job. Look at this. This is professional unboxing. Πάμε μωρέ, έλα Μάρκο. Όλε. Έλα. Flipping hell, man. I mean, look at this. Look at the size of this sticker, man. I mean, look at it compared to my head. This is not a sticker. This is a poster or something. How are we doing, everybody? Good morning. We are in Vallecas. We are going up the hill to meet Nacho. I will tell you all about him in a little while. And right after, we go to the center to get our ticket. Yesterday, when I made that stroll, there were quite a lot of reporters from AEK, and they were commenting on the peril of Vallecas, that it looks like some of the stadiums of the lower leagues, Athenian clubs, teams like Prodeftiki. Big up to the fan of the channel who supports Prodeftiki. What our reporters don't know is that the local fans demand from the president, from the owner of Rayo, to actually improve this one. Not take the team and leave, improve that one. Which is something he refuses to do for one reason or another. So we are going up the hill to have a better view, I guess. Gentlemen, and the one lady who found us the ticket for today's game. This is Nacho.
Hi.
Nacho, please introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Nacho. I'm Madrid journalist, and I'm here trying to show Anthony a little bit of Vallecas.
A little bit of Vallecas. In front of us is the Golgotha of Vallecas. I mean, look at this. Look at this hill, man. Vallecas has very nice views, and we will go enjoy them, while at the same time we talk about the favorite subject, which is football as a social phenomenon. So I will be showing to you the two books that, how many are they?
I've written two books.
Two books. The two books that Nacho has written. One of them has to do with the area here, Vallecas, Rayo, the story, the history, the tensions behind it. And the other one is a collection of anecdotes, right?
Yeah.
And histories of a series of teams who are leaning, who have a specific pro-human, anti-hate, pro-respect political orientation. AEK, the mother of all the refugees. So AEK, the mother of all the refugees, it's something that sits very deep in the folklore of my team, you know. And this guy actually nailed it. Look at us, man. Look at Madrid. No, this is not Madrid. This is Vallecas. So you were born here, right? You were not born in Vallecas, you were born
No,
in that neighborhood over there?
Yeah.
What's the name?
Moratalaz.
Moradela.
This is the big tower of television. It's called Piruli,
Yeah.
popular name. It was built for the World Cup of '82.
82, yeah.
The whole world could see, the old times, no internet, no phones, just television.
You have to have a big antenna.
So the world can see, as you see, all of these are working class blocks.
Yeah, I mean, it's more than obvious. I told Nacho that it reminds me of Sheffield. The Sheffield, the famous Sheffield neighborhoods have very short houses, right? These are big ones, but extremely repetitive, aren't they? You are also a fan, right? Which is your team?
Yeah, like Rayo.
Rayo, he's the enemy, you see? when they lose 3-0 today, by the way, I'm extremely scared about today. You cannot imagine my previous experience with Rayo. You beat Atletico 4-0, right? I'm scared after that.
In Leganés.
Yeah, in Leganés, okay, but it's still, it's a huge victory.
Yeah.
So Rayo is not a small team. This is for my Greek fellows who think that Rayo is not so powerful. They are. So I'm scared. Anyway, we will see what will happen. So my first question has to do with the owner. How is it going with that protest, man? I mean, we were here for that game against Atletico and we saw the protest. How is that evolving?
Right now,
Yeah.
this joyful spring for Rayo fans, with games as today's one with AEK, I will tell you that people are enjoying the moment.
So we have talked about this. I think it was in the first video we did here. What do you think of the action of the ownership to bring a Vox parliamentary? Was that woman a member of a parliament back then?
Yeah.
In the stadium. I mean, it's provocative, right?
Yeah, it was a clear provocation towards a neighborhood that has a very clear social, progressive and cohesive background, literally built by people coming from other places of Spain. The inner migration of Andalucía, Extremadura, Castilla-La Mancha.
We are talking about the 60s, 50s, 60s.
20s or 30s. We are stepping upon the old houses.
Under this hill were houses?
And poor people who came here to this specific place in Vallecas lived back in the 30s and 40s in the 20th century. Down here, they are literally the rests of these barracks.
Incredible that we
So we're stepping
actually...
upon the working class history of Madrid.
Unbelievable, man. In full honesty, how dangerous do you think that Vox is? I mean, is it like the Greek Golden Dawn?
I think in comparison to Golden Dawn's violence, I think they are a little less dangerous, but I cannot tell that a fascist is not dangerous. What's important here is that we are a mixed people against what far right in Spain would love to does love to say, that we are like white,
Aryans.
Almost Aryan people. We are not. We are Spain. We are Spanish. In a popular way of the day by day life, there's an anti-racist. I want to believe there's an anti-racist mindset here in Spain.
Although, I think it was 2 days ago when I played with Badalona. Earlier that day, I went to Espanyol. I wanted to do the stadium tour. That was not a success, by the way, but more on that in that video. So it was a little bit eerie for me to walk towards the stadium And remember that a week before that, Spain was playing Egypt, and the people were chanting that who doesn't jump is a Muslim.
Yeah.
And while I was trying to communicate this to the camera, there was this lady, obviously Muslim lady, with her kid walking by. I mean, so, and since then I noticed that Real Madrid, the Ultrasur, were singing about that outside of the Bernabeu, and also yesterday Atletico Madrid were singing that in the Camp Nou. I mean, Christian love. Where is Christian love, man? Are we trying to be extremists too, or what's happening?
What's happening, I think...
We are not promoting love. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
That's.
What I think it's happening, at least in Spain, from years to now, is that there's some racist and xenophobic and Islamophobic mindsets belonging to far-right parties and far-right lobbies, far-right in every part of the world, not only in Spain. Far-right has money, so they have a lot of loudspeakers. So I will tell you, this is a sort of what you are explaining has to do with the effect of some intoxication, I think, in the common life of people, because the Muslim people are not a problem. This has to be very clear. Muslim people are our neighborhoods, are our neighbor.
Yeah, neighbors.
And people who builds and lives in our neighborhoods and go to school with our kids, and they are our neighbors, friends, or whatever. Let's see, because in the world we have this progressive fame of Spain being like almost the progressive lighthouse of in the world.
I wanted to ask you about this.
Yeah.
I mean, for me as a Greek, Greece is essentially one of the major allies of the genocide of the Palestinians, right? And a lot of people in my country hate that. On the other hand, a lot of people love that because they think we are a coalition against Turkey that will help us against Turkey, if you believe that. So the moment someone like Sanchez gets up there on the TV and says, look, illegal, genocides illegal, wars illegal, bombings illegal, this illegal, that, he actually speaks the truth. Yeah, I think he's the only president in Europe who actually said that.
Maybe yes, I think so.
How do people feel about Sanchez?
I think with this particular issue of the genocide against Palestinian people, I think there's, I will tell there's a consensus, not only by Sanchez voters, not only by...
So, by the way, they existed even in the Civil War, right?
Yeah, was a key party in the back more than a century ago. I will tell you, people are aligned with our government in this very particular aspect.
Let's go to Numancia Market and have a Vallecana. So look, Vallecana is probably the worst beer on the planet. But if you open the bottle and let it rest for about an hour, it's quite tasty. The first hour, if you even dare to drink, it's only bubbles. It's amazing. By the way, when we talk about right wing, we are not talking about the average middle class conservative like my father. Right? So my father is that type of person, right-wing, conservative. If you ask him what he thinks about the Muslims, he has absolutely nothing against them, or the immigrants. They don't bother him. They live in our neighborhood. Anyway, that is a parenthesis that we need to add in this video. Is it the same here? The average right wing, I don't know, middle class person, are they hateful? I don't think they are. I mean, my father is not.
No, I tell you what I told you before, that this is an effect of far right poisoning public opinion. We don't have like strong problems about in our daily basis life. We don't have problems with people coming from other places. In TVs, media, there's a strong propaganda about fear.
Yeah, about
having
fear.
You know the shock doctrine of Naomi Klein?
Yeah. Naomi Klein, yeah.
We are living this.
We are living this indeed. Do you think people read as much as we used to nowadays? Or are we all into watching TikToks and stuff?
Yeah, maybe the problem is not that we are not reading, but we are having our leisure time is a passive time.
Scrolling, you mean?
I will not tell you about get bored and everything, but
Yeah.
well, the problem is that it has also to do with football. People say kids don't play football anymore in the streets. I don't know in Greece, but in Spain it's forbidden. So, yeah, in the public squares.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw here in Vallecas, big signs
The ball.
across the ball.
Yeah, it's forbidden. It's like parking in a wrong place, or social media, if you stop to think, are a tool that developed and just afterwards the austerity period.
That doesn't mean, by the way, that you should not be watching my videos. But if you are not watching the videos, read a book, play ball in the square. Oh, look at that mural, man.
Yeah.
We have a gorgeous Rayo mural. So this badge is the old one. It doesn't have the V for Vallecas. So what does Vallecas mean?
So the legend tells us that there were, before the Muslims get away by the persecution of the Catholic kings, there were rich Muslim whose name was Cas.
Okay.
And
Oh, so the Valle de la
this will be his valley.
Okay.
Valle del Cas's valley.
Yeah. And I saw outside of the stadium, I think it was close to the ticket office,
Yeah.
that famous ticket office,
Yeah.
that a lot of stickers writing Vallecas with a K.
Yeah.
Is this closing the eye to the Basques, or is it something else?
You have one there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, with a K indeed.
I interviewed for the book. I interviewed the guy who designed it.
The story of the Moor called Cas is in this book. And Nacho is talking here about the V and the K. Okay.
Late 70s.
Oh, this is cool. I have that book, by the way.
But it always reminds, for you punk fans people,
Oh, yeah.
the logo of the dead Kennedys.
The dead Kennedys, indeed. Yeah.
This is a plaque that indicates that this house is for low-income people. Franco also gave military houses for military people who were Francoists.
I think I saw one of the very few. What's the name? One of the very few statues commemorating the phalanx, you know?
Yeah.
In Ceuta.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
It's big, man. I mean, it was huge. I don't think there are anymore. I mean, I remember I went to Ferrol and they had absolutely nothing to remember that, okay, a bad person was born here, you know?
Yeah.
What do you think about? Do you agree with this?
With erasing.
Forget it, with the Olvida.
No, we must not forget. We have to learn history, and with that in mind, act.
So Vallecas is ungovernable. No government in Vallecas. So is it true that the kids at school, they learn about the Civil War, for example, but they learn when they are 15 or 16 years old, and usually these lessons take place in June, right before summer?
I don't know how it is today, but it was like that back in my times, that also were a lot of time ago. Yeah, we didn't have much time for...
So it's not a period that you spend a lot of time
No, in
reading
the 80s
about.
or 90s.
Not in
I
the
don't
80s,
know
okay.
now. I guess it depends on the teachers.
On the
maybe.
teacher, yeah, correct. I hadn't thought of that actually. We are currently having a casual discussion here with Nacho, drinking not the Vallecana, unfortunately, because these people don't have it for some reason, traitors. And he's telling me about his impression in Exarchia and all the messages anti-tourist, tourists go home, etc., etc. Now, as most of you know, I have opinions on the matter. So here's the thing. The hell, we are not visible. Are we visible? Yeah, sort of. Let's put this beer in the middle to have a triangle. So here's the thing. The problem with the whole anti-tourist thing are not the visitors. You are not the problem, I am not the problem, that's not. The problem is that for the people who live here, for example, or in Exarchia, one of their neighbors decides to put their apartment to Airbnb. And they decide, usually out of greed, to put it on such an extravagant price tag that it becomes unbearable for someone to go and rent this apartment. And that is what creates the fury of the local people. They cannot rent anymore. For their kids, I mean, let's say that somebody wants to go to Athens to rent an apartment for their kid to study, for the university. They cannot do that anymore.
Similar here in Madrid.
It's horrendous. But this is the only reason. It's nothing to do with you or with me.
Yeah.
It has to do with greed.
Yeah.
And it has to do with some corporations. Because a lot of these apartments are bought by flipping corporations. It's not just the greed of your neighbor potentially, right? That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Don't be alarmed.
No, I saw that.
You don't be alarmed either.
I saw that.
Come visit Athens. Big up, Nacho. That was one fine discussion, let me tell you. Now let's go take our ticket, man. Alright, man, habemos ticket, habemos entrada. Now let's go to the Sol and see what our people are doing. Big up to the lady friend of the channel, man. I am eternally grateful. So Real was playing against Bayern Munich a couple of days ago. It's amazing how unappealing all these big teams are. The only major forces of European football that I can tolerate is AEK and Liverpool, man. Why on earth is a tienda of Barcelona here? And in a similar manner, one of Madrid in the Rambla. These people have lost their direction in life. What's happening? closer because of the faces thing, you know? Alright, we are ready. Let's go because we are running late. Do I have everything? Ticket. Yeah, I have the ticket. We have the ticket. Let's go. Magic. So this is the typical situation where you eat the doner together with the paper. That was good, man. You didn't see me eating this because even I have some sort of self-respect. I mean, falling in the canal in Venice was a lot easier than that. Listen to our fans, man, from inside the ground. We are cooking. This is glorious. I wonder if we are here. I think we are here. I mean, media. We are media, right? I cannot believe this, man. Our lady friend really cooked for us. Just look at the visibility, man. I mean, it's criminal. Cheers. Bloody hell, man. So I just realized I'm sitting on bird poop. Look at this.
Buenas tardes, os damos la bienvenida al partido de la UEFA Conference League. Mukudi, Pilius, Jovi, Koita.
rescue. I changed the flipping seat in search for better luck, man. Come on. VAR, 1-0, still. So they scored in the 5th second, like literally. Then they scored again. VAR saved us there. Then that was the chance, man. I mean, we missed a couple of very good chances. And then, literally moments before the end of the half, it's 2-0, like, not very optimistic, to be fair. It's a pity, but it is what it is. And we flipping tried a couple of times to kill their goalkeeper, unsuccessfully, mind you. Let's investigate the upper floors of this masterpiece of a stadium. Vamos, AEK, vamos, AEK. Vamos, carajo. Flipping penalty, man. I cannot believe this. I think this is the saddest moment of this year, man. Football-wise speaking, AEK overachieved. I mean, if anybody back in the summer would say that we would be here and 5 points ahead in the league, people would laugh. It is what it is. See you later. Bye-bye.